Hi all, thank you for participating in such meetup. So my presentation was prepared especially for it. So I'm sorry in advance if something will be not so clear. And also my presentation is mostly about some technical approaches and the practical use case. But also prepared the plots and graph information that will be maybe more perfect for the human side to understand the trends, and will help me to explain why my final tips and tricks for the multi-channel retail and omni-channel analysis are very useful for analyzing the information that comes from the retail, commerce, and similar industries. Okay, so here let's start from some terms. I'm sure that you are familiar with the typical terms like price, like SKUs. So SKUs is stock keeping unit. So it is like the smallest assortment point that we can keep in our stock. And also here explains the multi-channel retail. So it is the retail when we can use different channels to distribute our SKUs. So it can be brick and mortar approach, so in-store purchasing, and web, like e-commerce purchasing, the same as direct distribution and others. And omnichannel is general strategy, so how to communicate to our consumers and how to increase the efficiency of our promotion mix and combine them in parallel to increase the final sales amount. So here we can see the practical use case. So it is the obfuscated real data where I remove the missing values and some zero values that appear in out of stock situation and provide some simple smoothing. So let's imagine that this SKU is the washing powder, and then we will analyze the similar SKUs also. So the situation here is about that our customer focused the trend decreasing or sales decreasing in the fall of 2019. And after that, we start to understand the environment and why it happened. So first of all, we saw on the price level, and we can see that the prices hadn't changed at all. So it was like $15 and $20 for the brick and mortar part and the web sales. So this is not the real factors that can influence on our sales. So let's go deeper. So after the first stage, when our customer realizes that something goes wrong with the sales, especially with the web sales. So as you can see, this is the slope that goes down here. So the customer starts to include the promotion mix, and first it includes the customer segmentation strategy, understand the discount need group, and then provide the discounts for these groups using the mobile application. But as you can see here, it is darker blue chart or plot, so it didn't help at all. And after that, the customers start a huge promotion for all like web sales and also brick and mortar sales or in-store sales. So this promotion includes to sell one original SKU unit with some additional unit at one price. So it can be like 2 SKUs for one price. But also it helps only to stabilize the trend, but at all it was not so significant impact for our sales. So after this situation, the customer asked us for maybe deeper analysis, but we found the problem even starting from the descriptive analysis, even not going to the predictive part or understanding of the demand and trying to predict or to to simulate the situation. So we found the problem on every first steps. So the next is also the factor from the environment. So it is the comparison to the price changes from our competitors. But as you can see here on the additional information within this plot. So here the correlation level is higher, is high just because the competitor prices were lower, and also we lost some amount of sales, but at all the elasticity was not so huge. So it means that this factor, like our average competitor prices, was not the exciter for this situation. So this is the first stage of this analysis, and it was the main part why after which we found the solution for all of this. So firstly we got, so it is the information that is located on the left. So firstly we got the correlation strand coefficient, so it is linear Pearson correlation that show us the similarity between the behavior of different SKUs but from same group, like also washing powder. And also we sort them by the correlation level. The correlation level here is negative just because we saw that this is the situation when our target SKU sales decreased. So maybe some other SKUs increased at the same time. Or if no, then we lose the sales and we lose the huge segment of our consumers. But after such correlation analysis, we found that we can't say exactly which of these SKUs were the exciters or even where they. So then we added here the relative cross-elasticity analysis. So the cross-elasticity here means not the strand between the behavior of the sales for different SKUs or units sold for different SKUs, but it means how much the some level can change due to changes from other or like external SKUs. So also we provide the sorting operation for it and found that the BSKU has had the negative and the most level of 2.51. That means that in case of our SKU A decrease at 1 unit or at 1 unit sold, so this SKU B was increased in 2.51 units. So it is very huge elasticity, so it is highly elastic, exactly. And then we try to plot them and to see how they were dependent. So this plot shows us this elasticity by date. So we can see that after the SKU B appear on the market, so it is the levels that are not equal to 0. So we can find that the web sales or the lighter blue color shows very negative position for the relative elasticity. So it means that situation so that we found on the previous slide. And after that, we exactly can go deeper and analyze all the behavior within the promotion mix and within our previous campaigns. But just very long story, so let's go to the next slide, where we can see the dependency between the web units sold for the A SKU and the B SKU. We can see that the total amount of the market increased just because we can add all of these scores and understand that the market increased, but all of described SKUs or goods have different profit margins. So it means that even in case after we can sold more and more SKUs, so it is not equal to we will received more profits. So finally, it is the plot that provide the aggregation for our sales. And here we can see that also with the price levels that decreasing of the web sales of SKU A is not equal to the increasing of the SKU B. And also, as I said, so it is the not so good situation just because we have different profit margins. So what are the final conclusion and tips for providing such analysis? So first, it is like to include all the structure of our sales, or to provide the cohort analysis, and also to see at the term called Simpson's paradox. So it is the situation. So you can see some example here. So it is the situation when the whole or aggregate changes show us the different trend or different dependency. And after we can dive more or deeper into our structure, we can find the dependency is inverse to what we find in the first steps. So for example, here we can see the dependencies between the home price and number of bedrooms. And it can be like negative dependency. So like in case we will see in general. So it means that if we found home with the higher number of the bedrooms, so the price can be lower. That is very impossible. But after we will add here some structure elements or parts like downtown, edge of town, so it is the location of their homes. So we can see that the situation changed to vice versa. The same, so this is information from the web. I'm sure that you can find also another examples of the Simpsons paradox, but the another one is the treatment comparison for ultrasonic treatment. So you can see here that after we add all the treatments to one group, we can find that the treatment B was more efficient. But in case after we can split or find the cohorts like small stones or large stones, we can see the treatment A was the more efficient. Also, for such kind of analysis, it is much better to add with correlation analysis, also cross-elasticity analysis. It is not only for the sales analysis, it can be also for the understanding of the efficiency of the promotion mix, of understanding of the efficiency of some our brand changes, of our marketing campaigns, or even some shuffling our customer segments or geo regions. Just because the correlation show only the similarity of the changes, but the cross elasticity shows the real effect, so the level of real effect. Then it is much better to add such cross elasticity to your customer segmentation model, like to understand which customer is more propensive to churn or needs some discounts or are more loyal. Just because in this case, what we see previously, so we saw that some customers that were discount needs, so they switched to the SKU B instead of focusing on the SKU A with some discount. So this feature is very helpful for machine learning model for the customer segmentation. And finally, here it is important to define the delay between the marketing campaigns, between the communication with our consumers via the omnichannel, and between the brand improving or improving the total promotion mix, even with understanding some like terms or metrics like CPM, CTR, or some conversion rates. So there can be some delay or effect delay. So sometimes we can't measure it at the first stages when we applied this marketing campaign. And finally, in addition, so it is very important here to include all other factors like pricing, like understanding which kind of promotion mix we are applying to this SKU, to this good or commodity. and also mix them with our possibilities for the supply chain, for the break-even point, or for the total equilibrium. Okay, so most of this like analysis, it is not so like huge and hard analysis, but it was helpful to go to these tips. So it was made using some part of this huge system that we call it Enterprise Analytics Suite that combines different modules for different purposes. And then they bring some synergy effect just because even so we can combine them in different way, but for the standalone usage, they can't reach all of these targets that are located on the right. Okay, so this was the last slide from my presentation. So I assume maybe even if it was too technical, maybe you have some questions related to this topic. So also thank you for your attention and time.